Hey everybody, this is Theorol. You can find me on the Marvel Champions Discord, answering rules questions, or doing the Card Text podcast with Bob and Scott, where we explore various rules conundrums, or here on YouTube, where I've been doing a Marvel Champions videos. I did a playthrough where I played every scenario and every hero at least once, and I'm going back through some of the early heroes and building them with recent decks at this point. And over here on the other side of my channel, I'm doing some what if videos where I've explored various alternative hero decks. I did a risky business with an alternative kind of scenario design, and last episode I did what if Doctor Strange was a little bit more balanced. So of course, Doctor Strange and Hulk released back to back, the most powerful hero in Marvel Champions and the weakest hero in Marvel Champions. So today we're going to do something with good old Hulk. So I've got Hulk here. Got him with an aggression precon and with some rebalanced cards. So when I'm doing my tweaks, you may notice that I tend to just keep the cards as they are. That's because I prefer to, mostly when I play test these, I don't actually write down the changes, or rather, like I don't print out cards and slip them in there or run different cards. I mean, I have when I needed to, but my preference is to be able to just play it with the cards that I have, and maybe if I need to, slip in a slip of paper to say what the different functionality is into the sleeve, and not have to go through a whole alternative card. Of course, here on Tabletop Simulator, it's a lot easier. You can just, import your new cards, and that's great. You just have to make them. So yeah, just if you were curious about, why I tend to do it that way, that's what's going on. So, all right, so let's talk about Hulk. So what's Hulk's problem? So, I think Hulk was the unfortunate victim of conflicting design ideas between Boggs and Caleb, Michael Boggs and Caleb Grace, the co-designers of the game, and Hulk was Michael Boggs' design, but I think Caleb probably had some thoughts about how it should go, and I don't think those thoughts were entirely in sync. So, for example, one thing that Caleb said is that, he thinks part of the reason that people don't like Hulk is because Hulk is not designed to be a combo hero. He just plays one card a turn. And, if you look at Hulk's Precon, he has Martial Prowess, he has Helicarrier, he has Avengers Mansion. I don't think he was designed necessarily to play one card per turn. He also has, in his hero cards, he has his, Limitless Strength, right? Just triple resource. I mean, if you use this triple resource to pay for a 3-cost card, you're playing another card that turn. And if you don't, you just discard them anyways. So, I don't know. I don't think that was his design, at least not from the ground up. Now, maybe that was Caleb's design. That was Caleb's concept for the character. I believe that. I just don't think that it was necessarily Boggs' concept for the character, and I think that's kind of core to this whole issue Hulk has with his cards. It's, fairly recently Michael Boggs has been able to talk about some things as he's no longer with Fantasy Flight, and he's got a little bit more freedom to talk about the some of the things that happened while he was there. And, he's commented on the Hulk and talked about how, so much was changed at the last minute, and he doesn't want to cast blame. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to cast blame here either. I don't think that it's, Caleb's fault because he wanted Hulk to be this way. I just think that's part of what happened with Hulk as sort of a post-mortem on where he went. But anyways, I think that is a particular problem that Hulk has, is that there was this design idea for him to play a single card per turn, but that he wasn't necessarily designed to play a single card per turn. The idea that he was originally using fists as sort of double resources for all of his cards, and they were more expensive and more powerful. And then they got toned down, and instead they get bonuses if you spend all fists. These sorts of things just, they have a pretty strong influence on how the character turns out, and so I think that's a problem with part of the problem that Hulk has, part of what makes him so weak, which is ultimately, I think, the problem with Hulk. The problem with Hulk isn't that you can only play one card per turn. The problem is that he's weak. And why is he weak? Well, he's weak because I think a second aspect of the problem with that he has is that I would say over the course of this game's life, the designers overall the effects that they underpower expensive cards. In a game where all of your cards are resources, let's see if I can come at this from the appropriate angle. So in a typical LCG customizable card game scenario, cards are valuable because you can end up in a situation, say, where you're top decking. You're only playing one card per turn. You're only drawing one card per turn. So the card itself is valuable. So if you have a card that for one resource does something, and for 3 resources it just does, say, 3 times as much as the original card. So you have a 1 resource card does 2 damage. 3 resource card does 6 damage. Those 2 cards are balanced. So you're going to want the 1-cost cards when you're tight on resources, generally at the beginning of the game, and when you're later on the game where you're tight on cards, the 3-cost card is better, right? Having a major effect with only 1 card is inherently valuable in that style of game. In Marvel Champions, it is not inherently valuable to have extra effect from a single card. Now, it's a little bit because the card itself is a resource. So if your 3-cost card does 6 and your 1-cost card does 2, then the 1-cost card is doing 2 for 2 effective resources, and the 3-cost card is doing 6 for 4 effective resources. So it's still a little bit balanced, right? And in fact, your 3-cost card is a little bit better than your 1-cost card. Now, that's important. Your expensive cards need to be better than your cheap cards. And the reason is because your cheap cards are versatile. You can play multiple cheap cards in a turn. Whereas if you're playing an expensive card, that's probably the only thing you're doing. And so in your typical, say, 5-card hand size hero, you can play a 1-cost and a 2-cost. So you could play combat training and a 1-cost event. But if you're going to play a 3-cost event, suddenly you can't play combat training, right? And that means with your cheap cards, you can build and play them. You can play a helicarrier and a 1-cost event, right? So you can build while you're playing these cards, but with expensive cards, you can't do that. Expensive cards need to have impact. And that impact needs to be, I don't think quite exponential, maybe not even quadratic in regards to the cost, but it needs to scale, and it needs to scale in a way that cards don't. So how does this affect Hulk? Well, Hulk has a lot of 3-cost cards, and those 3-cost cards are not scaled. Hulk Smash is the exception to this. Hulk Smash is a pretty well-scaled card. 3-cost card does 10 attack and can have overkill. That's pretty effective, although the fact that it's tied to his base attack does weaken it somewhat. But, I think overall with attacks, with hero attacks, they've done this. With, the aspect attacks, they did not. Uppercut costs 3 and does 5 damage. It's not worth it. It's a terrible card because you can get 5 damage from, almost from 2 1-cost cards. And if you did that, then you just outscaled Uppercut. And you did it in a more versatile way, right? If a card is worth 2 damage, then a 3-cost card doing 8 damage is fair, but not versatile. A 3-cost card doing 5 damage is both unbalanced because it's too weak, and it's not versatile because it's your whole hand. So, anyways, 3 costs for 10, that's fine. This card powers through games, and that's fine. Suborbital Leap, on the other hand, is 3 cost for 3 threat. That is absolutely awful. This is worse than For Justice. That's just like that's a terrible place to be. Now, I think this struggles with another part of the game, which is that justice cards for some reason are better than hero cards for the most part, whereas aggression cards are worse than hero cards for the most part. That's a whole thing. But anyways, 3 for 3 is just not very good. And 3 for 5 actually is still not very good, and that's where this card is. If you paid 3/5 for it, if you jumped through all the hoops, you get 5 threat. For jumping through the hoops, and that's just kind of like, the justice card agile flight is 3 cost for 5 threat, and that's mostly considered to be not a very good card because 3 for 5 is just not great. So suborbital leap really struggles. Thunderclaps also not very good. It's 3 for 3 damage to 3 targets. You have to have 3 targets for that to be valuable, and then it's still just 9 damage. And it's kind of this: you jumped through hoops, you paid a 3 cost card, and yeah, I mean it's better than melee, and melee's not awful. But mostly melee needs boosts to be good. It's pretty much a Miss Marvel card because she can make a 3 for 5 to 2 targets, and that's good. 3 for 10. 3 for 10 is good. So anyways, 3 for 9. It's not awful. It's just it really needs to be in a multiplayer game, and well, that's fine. Okay, Unstoppable Force. Unstoppable Force is terrible because it's a 2 cost, which means it's using 3 of the cards out of your hand, 3 of your 4. And if you paid for it with only fists, then you get 1 back. And it's the way that you can do things like clear stun status. So, oh goody, I cleared my stun status, and now I can play Hulk Smash if I luck into one of my triple resources. Right? Like, that's the only circumstance where you can use this and play a Hulk Smash afterwards. And that's tough. That's a tough thing to have to deal with. Limitless Strength's fine. 3 cost triple resources are great. For some reason, it's hero only. I mean, okay, thematically makes sense, but yeah. Banner's Lab. 2 costs for +2 recovery, which is, just a worse downtime. It happens to give you a mental resource in Alter Ego, so if you have Alter Ego cards you can play, then you can use that. Cool. Boundless Rage is fine-ish. It's 1 cost +1 attack. It's a cool card. I appreciate it. But the fact that you lose it when you change to Alter Ego hurts it a lot. And then finally, Immovable Object gives you +4 hit points for 3 cost, which is not great. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not really enough. Like, 1 hit from a typical villain is usually going to be more than 4 damage. Often is more than 4 damage. 4 is kind of average. So you can take 1 hit from a villain and you get Retaliate 1. Yeah, it's just, it'd be nice if it was bigger. Thanos does 4 damage just base, and then he boosts from that. So, against a powerful villain, this is just terrible. If you spend a whole turn on this, you're going to be struggling. And so that's kind of Hulk's problem, right? He has these expensive cards. These are supposed to be the one, you play this 1 card, that's your whole turn. You removed 3 threat for your whole turn. That's abysmal. 3 damage. You got 4 hit points. So yeah. That's kind of Hulk's problem, right? He's got expensive cards that are not impactful. He has cards like Unstoppable Force, which is just a gamble. What card do you hold on to? You hold on to a 1-cost card, draw a triple resource. Well, too bad. You can play a 1-cost card with it. Hold on to a 3-cost card, draw a single resource. Too bad. So it's just the value that you get out of this is nonsense. Banner's Laboratory is just kind of expensive for what it gives you. Alter Ego resources, you need some cards that you can build up with, which, I threw in combat training here to do that. But anyways, that's Hulk's challenge. So I'm going to replace some of these cards. Not all of them, but some of them. So the main one that I'm not replacing right now is Thunderclap. This is the only one I complained about that I'm not replacing. It's fine-ish, and I would like it to do more, but I'm not not enough to change it out. I think it's maybe okay if you fix most of the rest of him. So let's talk about what we're doing to fix Hulk. All right. So Hulk has many fixes across the internet. You can find lots and lots of ways to fix Hulk. You can find complete redesigns. You can find changes that are similar to mine. You can find changes that are pretty different. I personally have 3 different designs for Hulk, 3 different ways to make him work. I had one, the one I'm going to do today was the first design I came up with actually to fix him. It's my favorite one, so that's why I'm doing it. Then there was that comment from Caleb about how Hulk's meant to only play 1 card per turn, and I was like, well, that's not my design. My design is definitely not that. Although, again, looking at his Precon, I'm not convinced that holds true, at least within the Precon. So I'm pretty happy with my change anyways. But if you wanted a change that was more like that, I have some changes, some alterations to Hulk that are more like that. So the idea there is just to make his cards like hit hard, make everything do a lot of work, and then he just plays 1 card per turn, but it doesn't matter because it completely changed the board state. If you're going to make someone that only plays 1 card per turn, that's what his cards should be doing, right? That's how you do that. So that's one idea. Another idea is to make him a little bit more like S tier characters, give him lots of statuses. That can certainly fix him, because then he can be tough and stun things and confuse them and do all kinds of stuff. So those are kind of the other 2 designs. I'll mention a little bit about those as I go through these, but this design instead really leans into this idea of when your turn ends, discard your hand. So Hulk has to discard his hand. That makes Hulk angry. When Hulk's angry, he's stronger. So that's this card right here, Growing Anger. I've also used this as Limitless Strength. That's actually how I have played it most of the time, but I like it as a separate card too. And that's what this is. So it's a permanent card, starts in play. I don't want to deal with the whole change Hulk's card to make him, or Bruce Banner so that he can set it up. I've played it that way, that you have to play it on the first turn, and you just have to suck it up and play the card. But I don't love that. Oh, this should be a hero resource. Whoops. Anyways, the idea is it's a response after you discard any. Let's see. Can I zoom in and make it bigger? No. That's as far as I can zoom in. I apologize if that's hard to read. All right. After you discard any number of cards from your hand without generating resources, place a rage counter here for each card discarded. So you've discarded cards without generating resources. So it doesn't apply to generating resources, obviously, even though that involves discarding cards. So anytime, any card, any effect makes you discard a card, even at the end of your turn, you discard cards because it's the end of your turn, which you have to do as Hulk anyways. Or if it's the end of the player phase and people gave you more cards and you have to discard them, or you want to discard them, whatever, you can discard them, and this will generate rage counters. The villain made you discard a card from your hand, you get a rage counter. It really helps the fact that Hulk only has his 4-card hand. If you watch my Absorbing Man video, you'll notice how Absorbing Man keeps discarding my cards, and it really hurts with Hulk because his cards are based around this idea that you're playing them, this 3-cost card with your 4-card hand. You discard a card, you can't do that suddenly. This lets you do it. And then you can exhaust Growing Anger and remove some number of rage counters from it to generate that number of fist resources. So you build up rage counters, and then you spend them to play your expensive cards. And that's pretty much this design of Hulk. So it all centers around this idea. Discard cards, get resources, and that's happy. So we'll go in this order. So I made a couple of his cards then kind of interact with that. So the first one's Unstoppable Force. So Unstoppable Force, 2-cost ready Hulk. It's still the same. But then after you ready Hulk, you draw a card, regardless, and then discard a card. So what this does is it makes Unstoppable Force a 1-cost ready for Hulk, which is what it should be. Anyways, right? It's a 1-cost ready. Hopefully you were able to play it with some of the Growing Anger. So I don't need to reduce the cost because you're playing it with your anger. In an ideal circumstance, you're spending some rage counters to play it. Then since you spent those to play it, now you can't use them to play your other card. But it does kind of refund that rage counter. And then if you paid for it using only fists, you draw 3 cards instead. which means that it basically replaces itself. So you spend maybe a rage counter to play it so that you can know exactly what resources you'll have in your hand, and then a card, and then you play it, and then you draw 3 cards, and then you discard a card, and it's just you're able to use your unstoppable force to kind of build up your hand and get anger because it discards cards. All right, immovable object. So instead of 4 hit points, you get 6 hit points. Yay! This is the same as Tony Stark gets from his armor. You might notice a 3-cost upgrade that gives you 6 hit points. Tony Stark's armor is a tech upgrade. It gives him 6 hit points and a hand size. Comparatively, this is not as good still as Tony Stark's armor, but that's okay. It gives you 6 hit points and a response. After an enemy attacks, Hulk, discard a card from your hand, deal 2 damage to the attacking enemy. So it's not quite Retaliate 1, but it plays into his growing anger, which, that makes it fun. So you're able to kind of build up resources out of this. You can always build up resources. It's not like it's hard to grow angry. But it's a fun way to give him a little bit more powerful Retaliate that's, if you're going to spend the card as a resource anyways, that's just as good. If you weren't going to spend the card as a resource, then, well, sorry, it's not as good. In that case, if you have like 5 enemies engaged with you, you could have done 5 damage with Retaliate 1. With this, you're just doing 2. Sorry. At some point, you run out of cards to discard. And then we've got a couple other cards over here. So Banner's Laboratory. Banner's Laboratory is a 2-cost support, which gives you 2 of the recovery, right? Which is overpriced. And then it only gives you an alter ego resource. And that just bothers me. Why doesn't it just a resource? Hulk doesn't want mental resources anyways, kind of is the idea. So why don't we just give him a general resource? So, super minor change. But Banner's Lab is helping Hulk even when he's Hulk. And it gives him a mental resource, and Hulk's like, what am I going to do with a mental resource? Well, if you're playing non-Hulk cards, then it's useful. Or if you're playing your build-up cards, right, it's cool because Banner's Lab is helping you play your, upgrades. Kind of nice. It doesn't help you be Hulk, but it helps you, get stronger. So that's kind of, that's why I did that. This makes it so it's useful even if you're playing it in hero form and not going to alter ego at that moment in time. And that's nice because having that 2 recovery is actually pretty helpful for Hulk. All right, and finally we have Suborbital Leap. So Suborbital Leap, instead of removing 3 and 5, it removes 5 always. And if you paid for it using only fists, it lets you confuse the enemy, which can let you flip back to Bruce Banner, which I think is a thing that Hulk should be doing. He should be going back to Bruce sometimes. It's part of who he is, right? He's got to deal with this dual lifestyle. And yeah, most of his cards don't care. But the fact that it lets you hold a card, if you need to hold something, the fact that one of the cool things I like about Growing Anger is that it plays with Bruce Banner. He draws a card and then has to discard a card, and that makes Hulk angry. And then, so it's like, it is actually kind of draw a card and keep it, right? It's just, it plays into Hulk's anger. It turns whatever card you want to into a fist resource, that kind of thing. So that's the extent of this Hulk redesign. I have variously changed Thunderclap at times and made other tweaks to various cards. At times, I don't always play the same way. Just as an idea of what if Hulk's cards were just impactful. Suborbital Leap, the way that I made that is kind of the centerpiece of that to me. Is remove 5 threat from a scheme. If you paid for it, use only fist resources. Remove all threat instead. Just all of it. Is it a totally unbalanced card? Yeah. It finishes the scheming ones like that. Just immediately they're done. To various scheme-based scenarios. But you know what? Hulk can't punch his way out of those, so it's fine. 40 threat in one card. Sure, why not? Who cares? You're playing 1 card per turn, man. Make it impactful. So yeah, is maybe too much. I don't know. Anyways, Thunderclap defeats everything, right? It's just, that kind of design. Why not? Just make Hulk actually be powerful. Alright, so that's our Hulk. Oops. That's our Hulk redesign, and he doesn't start with this card in his deck. It's going to start in play. Okay, let's talk about this hero deck for just a second. If you want to skip this, that's fine. So in the pattern of the other hero decks, has a bunch of 2-copy cards. The extra copies go in the back of the pack. He gets 2 off-aspect cards. I guess he would have something like Beat Cop and Electrostatic Armor. I don't know. Sure, why not? So otherwise, what we have here, so we've got Downtime from Miss Marvel, because she wasn't able to run Downtime and Endurance and Enhanced Reflexes, Physique, whatever it was. So instead, just Downtime came here. Resourceful went to Strange to help him deal with all of his invocations, because they all have resource requirements now. So Bruce Banner gets Downtime. It's a Fist resource. Great. It gives him +2 recovery. Now he can get +4 recovery and heal all the way up. To the rescue, because that's what he had in his deck. Martial Prowess. You'll pay for that. Dropkick. No changes there. We've added Combat Training because he needed to replace these cards that were removed from his deck. Toe-to-toe. That's also in his deck, of course. He always has a Mansion and Helicarrier. I've just kept his deck as it was. Not trying to make too many changes, as always with these. He has these 3 allies, She-Hulk, Brawn, and She-Hulk? No, that's not what that's supposed to be. That is supposed to be Sentry. Yeah, that would make him better if he had 2 copies of She-Hulk instead of Sentry. Who needs Sentry? Anyways, Hulk needs Sentry. So we've added Tigra, because Tigra's a 3-cost ally. And we had to add... So Hulk's deck was built with 5 cards already, so we had to add just 1 card, which is Downtime. We don't have extra aggression cards because there was no pack with extra aggression cards. Well, okay, that's not true. Strange comes with extra aggression cards. We didn't get Skilled Strike. We're going to push that into Spider-Woman. She could use it. It's great in her, actually. So, yay, happy. So, yep. He had 5 cards. We removed those 5 cards. We had to replace 3 of them and 2 of them. So that's the 5 card replacements. This version of Hulk has a Growing Anger, so that doesn't work. Obviously, he doesn't have room. So, yeah, maybe it needs to be Limitless Strength. I'm not going to play it that way. I'm going to let him keep Limitless Strength today. I've played it that way many times, so that works out and would be fine. But I figured we'll do something different. So, yep. We're going to fight Taskmaster. We're fighting standard Taskmaster with Weapon Master and Hydra Patrol. Is this going to work? Who knows? But it's a, kind of standard scenario. Maybe a little easy. That's fine. Okay. This is our 6-card hand. Hey, we got Banner's Lab and Helicarrier and Martial Prowess and Tigra. Wow. That's a lot. We don't get that. We don't get all of those cards. Sorry, Hulk. I was dumb. I should have returned one of those cards. And I didn't. Okay. 5 cards. I guess I could have said that was his ability, but that's fine. Okay, instead we got all these cards. Let's see. But I needed to... I don't need... Well... This is actually not bad, except for that Crushing Blow needs a fist, so... That's fine, we get that from there. Still. Actually, ooh, toe-to-toe. We could play toe-to-toe instead of Crushing Blow if we need to. We don't need to, though. We don't even need Crushing Blow. What am I talking about? Let's kill those 2 cards. Maybe we can get some better. like unstoppable force. Cool. Alright. Bruce Banner is going to draw a card. And discard a card. And that's going to make him get angry. Hero form. We're going to pay 4 for She-Hulk. Oh, sorry. I flipped hero form. Did I shuffle this? Yes, I must have. Otherwise, my obligation would be on top. I take 2 damage. Because Taskmaster's a jerk. Alright. Play She-Hulk. She-Hulk thwarts. For 2. Thus clearing Hydra Patrol and getting us a Hydra regular. I think. Actually, I could have done this in Alter Ego. Does he not have quick striking guys? I thought he had quick striking guys. I guess not. Okay, I didn't need to do it in Alter Ego. Still. Hydra Hunter. 1 damage, otherwise place 1 threat on the main scheme. Versus, what do these guys look like? Yeah. No, I think these guys are actually worse. We'll take that guy. Sure, we punch him. Boom. You're punched. I'm going to go ahead and spend this and this to play Unstoppable Horse, which readies Hulk. And I paid it with all fists, so I draw 3 cards. And discard a card. And then I think I'm not going to toe-to-toe him. I'm just going to punch him for 3. I'm supposed to have an encounter card. And then I'm going to discard these 2 cards at the end of my turn to get 2 more. Anger counters. Help us with our 4-card hand. Alrighty. 1 threat. Taskmaster attacks me. I'm Hulk, so I take it. 1, 2, 3. We get these 2 cards. The first one is Hunted by Hydra. 1 threat. Each player takes 1 damage and discards a random card. Random card. There we go. Aw, you stole Brawn. You suck. And then captured by Hydra. Darn. 5 threat. You know what I could really use? Well, Brawn. I could really use my cool 40 card, but I don't have it. I guess what I do have is a Helicarrier that I can play for 3. And then we're going to play To the Rescue. Debating. Knock 2 threat off that side scheme, I think. She-Hulk is going to deal 1, 2, 3 damage. And Hulk's going to deal 3 damage, because that's all Hulk does. 4-card hand size. Still not the word. 2 threat now. And he punches me again. I can still take this. Ow. At least that wasn't an encounter card. Weapon Master. The villain attacks me. For 2 plus a boost. Alright, Hulk. She-Hulk's going to take that. She takes 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for Sentry. Still need 1 more. 4. Darn it. Sure. We'll take downtime. So I think Sentry's going to go ahead and thwart the main scheme for 2 because I'm a little worried about it. I'm going to go Alter Ego and recover. 5-card hand. 1 threat on the main scheme. 2 threat on the main scheme. Like I said, he schemes for 4. Alright, we could lose right here if we get an advance. That's the nature of playing aggression and Hulk. Alright, he gets his sword. He gets a surge, which is apparently a sidearm. And he does get advance. And he schemes for 3. We lose. So that was unfortunate. I just couldn't quite thwart this. And I didn't have to go alter ego, but I just don't. I needed something. Man, if only I could have gotten one of my suborbital leaps. There they are. I really didn't get my build cards, which hurt a bit. I didn't get my allies that could have thwarted, although I guess I got some of them. Who did I lose? Oh, I lost Brawn. Man, losing Brawn, that was rough. Alright, we're going to try this again. Which will make this a kind of long video, so if you're sticking with me, great. Happy to have you. The danger of solo play. Also, I will say that I know a lot of people find Taskmaster to be really easy, which is because these side schemes give you, allies, but I find them not to be that easy, really at every player count. So, one of those things about how I play. Alright, so we got She-Hulk and Sentry. Might do Sentry here over She-Hulk. He's just a little bit more consistent. Suborbital leap. Suborbital leap could get me there. I'm gonna hang on to downtime. Maybe we do hang on to She-Hulk instead of Sentry. I don't really need suborbital leap at the moment. Alright, fine. We're just going to keep Sentry. See what else we can get. Oh, Mansion. Interesting. Okay, sorry, I'm supposed to have a single encounter card. Alright, I'm going to try this again. Draw a card. Discard a card. Okay, well that's Sentry for 4. Yeah, sadly, not quite enough to play everything I would want to. Actually, I guess I should keep Crushing Blow and not Tigra. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would play Avengers Mansion. I could draw a card, but that doesn't play Sentry. Four plays Sentry. It's a shame. I'm so close. If only I had that 6-card hand size. I mean, I could do Tiger instead of Sentry. I think that's better. There we go. I'm happy with that. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. For an Avengers Mansion. Draws 1 card. And then we spend 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, that's all of my thwart. I just lost both of my thwarting allies. I guess I still have Brawn somewhere. 1 threat. I was supposed to take 0 damage. 4-card hand. Interesting. Alright. 1 threat. Taskmaster attacks me. I take it. 1, 2, 3. He schemes. Oh no, this is really terrible. 3, 1, 2, 3. No, this is bad. That's really bad. Oh, that's so bad. Can I please get a thing? No, no thing. Well, you'll pay for that would have been nice to have already in my hand. Alright, Tiger's got to thwart this, so it goes away. And I get one of these guys, because I really need them not to incite. Then I punch him, because that's easy. Oh! That works out. Yes. That is what we are going to do. One for toe-to-toe. One full euro play for that. Yep. Toe-to-toe. Attack me, Taskmaster. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll pay for that. Okay, hold on. Put this guy back. Put this back. I remove 1, 2, 3, 4 threat. I didn't notice I had that combo. So now I use Tigra. I'm still standing. I remove 1 threat from here. That clears that, and I get 1 Taskmaster ally, which is the best possible Taskmaster ally to get. Unfortunately, I don't have a mental. But that's okay. I mean, that sucks, because that's super overspending, but that's fine. Okay. We punch this guy. So that should work. 4 card hand. 1 threat. He attacks me for 2 plus boost. We'll block this with Tigra. She takes 3. A single encounter card. It's advance. He schemes for 3. Alright, well, fortunately, we still have White Tiger. So she can thwart big Avengers Mansion, can draw a card. Oh, well, that's fun. 2 for martial prowess. 1, 2, 3. All fists. We drop kick him. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a stun status. And we draw a card. Oh, look, it's limitless strength. We discard that for a single counter. Man, that's demoralizing. 1 threat. He fails to attack me because he's stunned. I get a single encounter card. Oh, Shadow of the Past. Oops. I did not mention this, but this is a thing that makes Hulk really terrible. He has 3 boosts on all of his stuff. It's silly. Okay. Now, I have interesting options. I can just punch him hard. I have Hulk Smash. I will kill him and deal some more damage. On the other hand, I could punch him and then Unstoppable Force to ready and punch him again. That doesn't do quite as much, but if I played Helicarrier first, then Helicarrier for Unstoppable Force, I get to draw some cards. And I don't know what I could do. So it's that question of, do we just push the villain because we can, because we're Hulk? Or do we use Unstoppable Force? I mean, I'll note that I could also you know, like punch the villain for 3 and then play Unstoppable Force. Stand up, draw 3 cards, discard 1 of them, still have enough to Hulk Smash, and get more rage. I kind of like that plan. Let's do that. That's going to flip him. Do I want to flip him? Man. The thing about Hulk is he's so fast. 13 damage. Minus 6 is 7. Yeah, that does flip him. Is that where I'm at? What happens when I flip him? He's just a 3/3. We get another encounter card. I haven't been doing this. After prolonging step 1 of the villain phase, I have to choose to place the threat here or take a damage. I've taken 2 damage so far. I would really like to be able to go alter ego. I don't see that happening. I have to kill Abomination because that's the way that Hulk is. Maybe. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deal 3 damage to Abomination. I'm going to pay 2 for Unstoppable Force, which readies Hulk. They were both fists, so I draw 3 cards. And discard 1. We're going to do it again. We punch him for 3. He's defeated. No, that doesn't work. We're going to pay 2 for Unstoppable Force, which draws 3 cards. And discards 1. And I read. Then we're going to pay 2 for To the Rescue. Knocks 2 threat off that scheme. It's gone. And finally, we spend the last health off of White Tiger to knock 3 threat off the main scheme. And we punch Thunderclap, or whatever his name is, Taskmaster for 3. We discard Thunderclap, get 1 more of those. And there should be... Seriously? Man, still nothing. 1 threat. Alright, Taskmaster attacks me. I didn't discard both of them, did I? Suborbital. Yeah, I still have a suborbital in there. I just top bottom 4 cards. So frustrating. No, I don't think I can defend this. I just take it. 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single encounter card. It's a Hydra Hunter. Okay, great. Draw a card. Hey, Braun, how's it going? 3 for Braun. One, 2, 3 for Dropkick. 4 and a stun status, and we draw a card. Thunderclap. Spend 2. To the rescue. Knock 2 threat off that. Punch this guy for 3. Braun deals 1 damage and removes 1 threat. Okay, I feel safe to go alter ego, even though he's not confused. I don't know, I'm going to get 2 encounter cards. I don't want to stay hero mode. I don't have any health. This is probably fine. There's my suborbital leap. Man. It is easier when you draw your cards that you actually want to see. 1 threat. Taskmaster schemes for 4. Still could lose on an advance. I have an extra encounter card. First one is Exhaustion, because of course it is. Into Assault, which surges. into a Hydra regular, which adds 1 threat. And then I'm hunted by Hydra, so I add 1 threat. I'm not in hero mode. I'm pretty sure I forgot to do that one more time. If I took too much damage, you be the judge. I always forget that stupid side scheme. Okay. This really stinks. I'll have Thunderclap, so that's easy enough. Did I discard a random card? I did not. Oh, I'm not supposed to. That's just he's playing hero mode. Okay. So I use Buddhist Banner. I draw a card. Discard a card. For some rage. Flipped hero form. Suborbital leap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he is confused. That's true, he's already stunned. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I want to flip him right now. I kind of wanted to recover. Fine, flip him. Jerk. I got an extra encounter card. Oh, I was supposed to take damage. 1 damage. How many points does he have? 17. Braun is able to thwart for 1. One, 2, 3. Drop kick him. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's stunned. And I draw a card. I spend 1. Crushing blow this guy. Discard toe to toe. Gain 1 more counter. Alright. 1 threat. He's no longer stunned. Please don't attack me. The enemy with the highest attack attacks the hero, or ally with the highest attack. Thanks. Alright, so he's attacking me for 3 plus a boost. Well, I could defend that, and I'll die if he gets a 3 boost. Or Sentry can defend it, and I'll be fine. Not Sentry, Braun, whatever his name is. Alright. Braun defends it. Hey, I wouldn't have died. And he gets his sword. Mental and Fist. Well, I don't have that, so I can't clear that. I draw a card. Well, that's special. Yeah. Spend a triple resource for Helicarrier. 1, 2 for To the Rescue. Flipped alter ego. Draw a card. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. I should have done this instead of this and that. Because discard a card. Because I have too many of those. I know I kind of cheated, but that's alright. We're going to take it. Oh, I have mental resource. Now I can clear that. 5 card hand. I got to recover for 2 extra because I had that in play. 1 threat. He's not confused. I take a single card. Shoot, I had to take a damage. That's fine. Start of the turn. Alright. 1 encounter card. I'm forced to flip. And I'm Hulk, so I exhaust. Hulk, you're such a jerk. Draw a card. Could I get a ready? Nope. No ready? Alright. So let's see. Play 3 fists for a drop kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a stun status, and I draw a card. Hey, it's Unstoppable Force. That's what I was hoping for. Alright. We pay 2 for Unstoppable Force, which readies Hulk, draws 3 cards, discards 1. And then we punch him with 1, 2, 3 extra resources for a Hulk smash, and he's dead. Alright. Let me play my dagger. Okay, fine. We spent 3. I spin a mental. Clear it. So many things I could have done with that. Anyways. Here, I kept this too. Spade that one. Because Martial Prowess can pay Crushing Blow. More damage. Okay. Anyways, he's dead. We defeated Taskmaster. I mean, you can just rush. Hulk can always rush. That's what Hulk does. But I did want to show off a little bit of how this can work to make Hulk a little bit more buildy. And play. It smooths out a lot. I mean, yes, I still lost a game. That happens every now and again, regardless. Best heroes and all that. The confused status really helps him because he needs to be able to go all the way go. Sometimes he's got this massive recovery, but he can never recover because he can't thwart. It's just not a thing that he can do with the cards that he has. So that makes it rough. But anyways, this is my preferred version of Hulk, as I mentioned. You can have him lean into the statuses a little harder or do other stuff, but this is the Hulk that's fun because he just gets a bunch of extra resources and then smashes stuff. I will readily admit that wherever it is, this card it may be a little OP in this way because it's draw 3 cards, discard a card. So it's a free ready for Hulk at that point, effectively, but it's even a little bit better than that because if you pay with this, then you're really getting extra cards, and it's definitely a contributing factor to making Hulk cool. And while yes, I think a lot of these things make him powerful and make him work, but Hulk should be powerful. Darn it, he's Hulk. He should be able to just smash stuff, and that's kind of what this lets him do. It lets him just smash stuff. So, anyways, if you like this, like and subscribe and all those fun things. Let me know how many times I missed hunting down heroes in the end. Obviously, I missed a bunch of times. I adjusted my hit point dial down pretty far from that. Could never recover though. So, yep, that's everything for this one. So, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, all that cool stuff, and I'll see you next time.